Okay, so it's 15, and we can give the official start to this new area of AIMA International 2024, which is the AIMA Digital Terrace, where all these nice events about digital technologies are taking place. Today we're hosting the first one, and I'm very happy to have this guest talking about robotics, which is not part of our future, but is part of our present. So we have Gwendoline Legrand from Fira, go for Fira. We have Andrew Oliver from AEF, Dario Mengoli, Field Robotics, Savio Landonio from Arvatec, and Simone Pollano from Tevel Robotics. So thank you for you to be here. And it's going to be a chat. So I'll be happy to ask some questions to you. And first, for each of you, I would like to give some short introduction, what is your company or your association is doing. But let's start with you, Gwendoline. So we are seeing big interest and rising interest in agricultural robotics. And there are new players every year coming into the game in order to solve challenges of agriculture. Then you have a privileged view from your organization of World Fira and Fira USA, which just happened in California. So what's your perspective on how the agricultural robotics is evolving?
Yeah, thank you, Alessio, for asking. Well, it's very interesting to see that robotics has been in the fields for decades now, and I would say that they were really commercialized since, let's say, 15 years that started. So it's brand new when you think about innovation. However, when we started Fira in 2016, so it's nine years ago, there were maybe 50 robots that were existing. Now it's hundreds of robots that are existing and companies all over the world. They are tackling challenges for the everyday challenges of the farmers. We all know about that. One of the main, and it's very particular when you have a look at the participants at Fira, they are really saying that they have this labor shortage that is a key problem that they have to tackle every day. And automation, robotics is one of the solutions. It's quite clear. There is also something that we've seen released a few weeks ago at Fira USA, is the crops landscape of robotics that is released by the Mixing Bowl, that is an investment company. And they have released this new landscape, and they've seen 100 new companies that are that just launched in the last 2 years. So we can see that really now the robots are in the fields. They are also in all segments. It's not only for weeding, that is the most purpose of the first robots that have been in the fields. Now it's also about harvesting, thinning, seeding. We've been seeding the fields for World Fira, for example, early this week with robots, with Nayo and Softy-Rob. So that's the first year we are doing that. And you can see maybe already on LinkedIn or those kind of things that they have been seeding the fields, they are harvesting, and they are weeding now. So that's what we can see from our vision, our point of view.
So it's actually, you are confirming that this area is growing very, very fast, and even new types of machines. And in that perspective, I would like to ask you, Andrew, because Gwendoline mentioned, let's say, specialized machine for specific operations like, I don't know, picking, seeding, weeding, or whatever. But we're also facing towards, how can I say, tool carrier, autonomous tool carrier, capable to use different attachments, different implements, dealing with all of those applications with just one, let's say, autonomous tractor, even if it might not be the correct term. AEF is working on interoperability of information of agricultural machineries, and maybe this is a new area which is even new for AEF. And that's actually why you, I believe, founded this new project Teams Autonomy. So what's your view? So if explain maybe a little bit how and why AEF is interested in this autonomous area and what the new autonomy team is doing and why it is born.
Okay, thank you, Alessio. So yeah, I'd just like to say, so yeah, my name's Andrew Oliver. I'm actually an employee of CNH, and I get to spend some of my company time at CNH supporting an industry organization, which is that organization called the AEF, the Agricultural Industry Electronics Foundation, and it's with that AEF hat on that I'm speaking to you today. And I mean, I'm sure most of you already know, if you like, the history of Isobus. So Isobus as a standard, it was released around about the year 2000. It was viewed as a way of having interoperability, electronic interoperability between tractors and implements from different manufacturers. And this is really all in the pursuit of, precision farming, saving the inputs that you're putting into the field, doing a better job. But Isobus was created by the ag industry collaborating. The standard was released, things didn't quite go according to plan. We didn't see that interoperability. And that led to the formation of this group, the AEF, in 2008. And we agreed that, okay, as an industry, we created this standard. It needs to be improved. Let's improve it under this AEF organization as a way of making it better. Let's technically investigate what doesn't work on the Isobus. Let's document how to improve that and actually have interoperable ag electronics. And that's really been the mission of the AEF since 2008. We started off with 7 ag equipment manufacturers, one of which was obviously my company, as well as the main competitors. And now we've grown to over 302 members we have at the moment. And we're all collaborating to make electronics better in the ag industry so that we can all have interoperability. And we speak a lot about autonomy, but before autonomy, you actually have automation. So automating some of the functions you have on the equipment at the moment. And obviously, if you think of GPS guidance, that's automating the steering function of the tractor. If we then return to Isobus, so again, ISO 11783, the reason behind the AEF being formed in the first place, one of the latest functionalities that we released on the Isobus is this functionality called TIM, or Tractor Implement Management. And really the whole idea with this TIM functionality is it allows the implement to automatically control certain functions on the tractor. Obviously, the implement must have the intelligence on it. The implement must have the sensors, the computing power, etc., to give a command to the tractor. And if you, let's imagine a baling operation. You might have sensors on the baler that know when the bale chamber is full up, and it can say, okay, I want the tractor to stop now. I need to open the tailgate and wrap the bale and eject it, etc. And that's all encompassed with this TIM functionality, and it's really the implement's controlling the tractor because the implement can think, the implement can manage itself, and it's turning the tractor into a power source. And we already have that functionality today. TIM has been on the market since 2019. Here we are in 2024. A lot of the tractors that you see at the show are already supporting TIM. But what we're missing is the implements being ready to command the tractor. So, if you like, the communication, the language for automation between implements and tractors is here now, it's available now. But we need more effort on the side of the implement manufacturers to control what the tractors are making available. In the end, from the AEF point of view, we've been working hard to get this TIM functionality released, to make it available for all manufacturers, for the industry to benefit from. We then realized at the same time, the way the TIM functionality is designed, it's designed to always have an operator in the seat. So with TIM functionality, you need someone in the seat. The nice thing about TIM, because the implement can do its own thinking, the person sitting in that seat can be more on the unskilled side of the operator spectrum. So if you have a TIM implement controlling a TIM tractor, you can put in an unskilled operator, assuming you can find them, and do a good job, or get a good output of the tractor and implement working in the field. However, we could see that obviously the requests coming from the market are saying, okay, this TIM is great, but how can we have this functionality without the operator? And so based on that, and based on a few other things that were going on, yes, last year we decided we did need to create another AEF team to investigate autonomy and work out how we can create standards or standardize autonomous applications so that we can have interoperability in this area of autonomy. I mean, the AEF has been so successful with interoperability with ag equipment from different manufacturers working in the same field thanks to Isobus, thanks to getting Isobus working. We now felt the need to use our network to, again, to start working on interoperability of autonomous solutions as well, not just automated solutions.
Yeah, no, I see, and well, we can dig deeper into that tomorrow in a specific and dedicated forum on the new, let's say, AEF project teams. And actually, team is also displayed in the Innovation Award area, because one of the products which have been awarded is based on team, so definitely is part of the game. I go to the other side of the round to Simone, because we go back to specialized application, specialized machine. In this case, we're talking about picking, apple picking. So you designed this innovative apple picking machine, which is also, or will be also capable of picking other fruits, maybe in the next month or years. How challenging was that project?
Well, I think, first of all, good afternoon to everybody. Thank you for the invitation. As you see displayed behind me, this is our story so far. So at the end of the day, the most important aspect is this one that I'm carrying with me. And if I can lift it, it means it is light enough to pick fruits. It's even on the left hand, so I'm stronger on the right side. We once developed this unique, versatile robotic system. We decided to implement them on different platforms. With platforms, we mean we need to put the fruit somewhere. So this is the experience and the progress that we are running since 2 years, finding the right adaptation and the right fit to something that the robot itself is already autonomously doing. So it is scanning the fruit, it is determining by the size of the fruit and the color which one to pick, and allow consistent quality. So I think before many people ask, how much do you pick and how far can you go? The most important thing, and I'm coming from the automotive world that has reliably shown with scale that first you need to solve the quality issue. Because if you start damaging orchards and just pick because you have to show numbers, but leave a destroyed orchard behind, that is a big problem. So coming out of the laboratories and doing all this progress that you see and displayed in many fairs already, we realized that apples are at the moment, from the horticulture point of view, the type of fruit that is most promising to get also to the productive curve, because the fruits are shown into the camera. They are hanging on intensive canopies, and the robot is, as a result, faster in doing its job. So long story short, we started with stone fruits, with apples. In stone fruits, I mean plums, peaches, apricots, and now are converging into a more dedicated apple harvest equipment, which we are already using in operations in Europe. And today in CMA, today in AIMA, excuse me, with CMA, we are highlighting another equipment that is exactly matching the philosophy we were discussing, which is how can I fit best, maintaining high standards of quality, at the same time being agile. There is nothing more agile than this. Also in terms of costs, is probably 1/6 of a robotic arm. And it's not even at scale. So I believe this object here is going to have a similar path like the cellular phones had 20 years ago when we started with the big one, and more computing power was put on those ones.
Thank you. So you believe that drones or linked drones, I don't know how that's called, will be part of the future agricultural machinery as well. But if we go to, well, we continue with dedicated applications. And I move to Savio from Arvatec, because you also designed a very specialized machine which won the Innovation Award 2022 in the previous edition of the AIMA. And it is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a weeding machine specialized for rice field, right? And operating in both dry and wet conditions. So why did you feel that need to develop such a kind of very, very specialized machines? And what's behind that decision?
Okay, so first of all, thank you for the invitation, and good afternoon to all. We start our company 23 years ago, and we start with parallel guidance in rice cultivation. So it was our first market, and so we have a lot of customers on this market. And during the years, especially in the last years, we heard from our customer the necessity to have a solution to cultivate biological rice. I don't know if you know the situation in rice, but cultivating biological rice without chemicals in water is very, very difficult. A lot of companies try to test different solutions, but no one of these with good results. So based on this, we was pushed to develop a solution that can permit to cultivate biological rice without any plastic film in the fields, any other implements. And we had the idea of the robots, this kind of robot that is called Mondino. In fact, the original of the idea came from one of our customers that start giving us the idea to work in the field using the wheel, only the wheel. And on this solution, we can go also in dry field, but also especially in water. So working in water on this way is possible to do the control of the weeds inside the water. And now the project is still going with the new improving. There are 3 years that we are working on the fields with the robots with good results, especially this year. We had good result, and in this paddy field you see at the back, we had the same production of the field around this that was cultivated with the standard chemicals treatment. And so the production was the same, but without using any chemical treatment, only using the robot from the seeding to the harvesting to control the weeds.
Okay, so That's a very nice application, and now we move from, you know, we talked about specialized machines, but also about tool carriers, and we moved to field robotics to discuss about that, because your company born from a research project at the University of Bologna, right? Yes. And now you are ready to market the machine, actually. So in a very few years, you did a very long way. And yes. Your machine is specialized for orchard and vineyard application, right? So how all of that happened?
Yeah, okay.
And
so
why you decided to do that?
yeah, so FederUnacoma, as you said, is a spin-off company of the University of Bologna. And actually the first research project was started in 2015. So not too much years ago, but not only last year. So there was a lot of improvement and design and development involved in all this project. And we started with a question. So we wanted to bring the research to the market. So this is why we founded the spin-off. And the question was, okay, we saw a lot of automation for arable crops, for instance, that is a reality in the market also today and also 10 years ago. But for vineyards and orchards, the scenario is quite different. So maybe it's more challenging, but since we were at the university, we like challenges. And so we said, okay, can we do something to address automation in these cases, so in this scenario? And by trying to think about the future of the tractor, so to replace and improve an existing machine in such a way that it will be more sustainable, more cost efficient, and so on. And so the answer was the machine that you can see also in the video, that is like our idea of the tractor concept of the future. And then things were going on, and the results also in the laboratory, but also in the field, because I like to mention this because we were lucky, since the University of Bologna has got a lot of testing experimental fields near the city. And so we actually tried a lot on the field to make sure that this solution, that of course came out from a laboratory, can work also in a real world scenario, so by a real farmers and a real farming company. And that's it. So, and we ended up today that we have sold several machines. We will start commercialize this tractor, let's say this rover, in the next year. And the platform is a robotic platform, completely autonomous. So, like, we know that there is still an issue about the regulation of the autonomous driving on the field, but let's say, like the Tesla car can do some kind of autonomous driving, we can do this kind of autonomous navigation in the field. So of course, at the moment it will be supervised by an operator, but we plan, of course, to be ready when the regulation will come out about all the testing and so on, to make sure that we can provide a fully autonomous navigation in the orchard and in vineyards, where maybe under those nets that you see on the top, those are anti-hail nets, and inside greenhouses and so on, where the GPS signal is not so reliable. So we actually developed a navigation algorithm that uses the LiDAR system and the cameras mounted on the rover to being able to perform this kind of autonomous driving.
Yeah, you mentioned this uncertain situation about regulation and standardization. Just let me say that that's a field in which all the industry, all of you manufacturers, as well as our association, will need to work together in that direction to make all the people and the authorities aware of that problems to be solved. Now, and I go back to Gwendoline, because you mentioned about, you know, your perspective, but now I would like to have also a short overview on what happened less than 1 month ago right, in
No,
California?
10 days.
10 days ago. It was during my birthday, so that I missed something, so I'd like you to remind a little bit what's happened and what's the perspective for the next year in Toulouse.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Alessio. Well, first, I would like to go back to Fira USA because there is something I just mentioned that labor was one of the things that made growers go to the lack of labor, of course, that was making growers go to robotics and automation. That's something that's very often, and not in the US, and that's the only country where I've been, and that they are not asking that, or robots taking jobs. And that's one of the main issue and ethical problem that maybe we are thinking about when we're thinking about robots. And it was very interesting to meet growers in the US that were very like concrete and saying, okay, I'm using robots and they are not taking jobs, they are making jobs. And I want to take one example. It was this tomato grower who had, usually he was picking manually the tomatoes in the plants, and he got with an autonomous harvester, and he was going from 2 tons of tomatoes per year to 11 tons. So obviously he needed new employees, and he needed more, he said, better jobs with more value also. So that's something very interesting, and we have to think that this is innovation, and agriculture and farmers are one of the most innovative people that are feeding us at the end. So that's something very important. To go back to, next edition, World Fira. World Fira is the international event for agricultural robotics. This is the only event where you can see dozens, and I would say around 40 robots doing demos in the fields in real conditions, and that happens in Toulouse next February in France. This is an international event, and you can see many, many robots coming from all over Europe and all over the globe. You will be able to see those robots in vegetables, in field crops. Also, there will be apple pickers too, so that's interesting to say, on orchards and vineyards. So all the different crops and the issues that can appear and can be solved through robotics. There is also something I would like to add, and that maybe proves the importance and the arrival of robots in the fields, that big companies, tractor companies such as New Holland, John Deere or Kubota, are taking part now at Fira and in robotics for many reasons. Some of them are acquiring startups, some of them are developing new autonomous solutions, and they are part of the game. And that means a lot for the industry, and that means a lot for the new solution that will arrive on the market too.
Thank you. No, it's a very interesting hint. Even because you mentioned big tractor manufacturers dealing with robotics and autonomous operation in general. And in the next future, and you mentioned about also, jobs and new jobs maybe, new skills needed. But in the end, for many years, robotics and autonomous machine will be working along with the standard, let's say, tractors and machineries, right? So, Andrew, from your perspective, maybe from AEF perspective, how important is the interoperability of information, even from, let's say, a more safety perspective when an autonomous or automated function is working along with traditional tractors and machineries? How important is to exchange information, data, and confidence on what a machine is doing?
Okay, thank you, Alessio. It all comes down to interoperability, and whether you have a manned machine made up of a tractor and an implement from 2 different manufacturers working together, you need interoperability. And now we're in the situation where we have unmanned machines, some type of power unit working with an implement, and you still need that interoperability even though there's nobody in the field driving that. They're remotely monitoring it. But again, not everybody is going to make the one solution. So in the same way that we have you know, you go to a farm and you'll see more than one color of tractor, and you'll see many different colors of implements on the same farm. It's going to, well, from my point of view, it's going to be the same in the future with autonomous systems as well. You're always going to need to have that interoperability, because not one manufacturer is going to make everything that you need for autonomy. And sort of coming back again to the AEF and the fact that we formed this autonomous group at the start of, well, early on this year. The whole idea behind the group is that we want to look at an autonomous system working in the field. We want to look at the, if you like, what are the interfaces? If you have a power unit and one or more implements connected to that and they're working in the field, what are the interfaces for that autonomous solution? And then once you look at all the interfaces and you map them out, and also you've obviously got some remote web application for mission planning, etc. What are the interfaces, and what are the ones which should be left alone so that manufacturers can protect their own IP? Obviously, yes, there are some interfaces you do leave alone, but there are some other ones which should be standardized so that, again, you can have this interoperability. So the first kind of remit of this group within the AEF, this automation team, and in fact, if anybody wants to know more about it, at this time tomorrow, there will be a slightly more in-depth presentation from an AEF, on this AEF team, given by someone who's actually participating in the team. So if you want to know more details, please come back tomorrow here at this time. Anyway, so yeah, the idea is to go, okay, for the interfaces in an autonomous solution that should be standardized, do we have an existing standard which can be enhanced or improved to support autonomy? And so if you look at ISOBUS and you look at it in terms of functionalities, there's the universal terminal functionality which allows you to operate the implement. There's the task controller functionality which allows you to automate what the implement's applying and to record what's been done. But those are two separate, if you like, functionalities on the ISOBUS. And if you look at trying to use those in an autonomous application today, they still require an operator input. So again, coming back to this, the whole idea of what this autonomous team is doing, they want to look at existing standards such as 11783 and work out how can they be enhanced to support an autonomous application. How can we use universal terminal or task controller to automatically start and implement doing something? I mentioned before the other functionality, TIM, Tractor Implement Management, and the requirement of TIM today to have an operator in the seat. How can we enhance the TIM functionality in the future so that an operator won't be necessary? And so this is really the whole remit of this AEF autonomy team. Look at existing standards, try and work out how they can be enhanced or improved so that they can also suit an autonomous application. And then where there isn't an existing standard, then obviously we would need to create a new team to work something out. So yeah, again, let's improve what we have to make it suitable for autonomy, because we know that not everybody that makes an autonomous power unit would make the right implements and vice versa. We know that interoperability is needed in autonomy. Obviously, one of the other points of that team is to keep an eye on the functional safety standards that we have to follow today. So, you know, 25119, 18497, etc. How can we make sure that, you know, the direction we're going into autonomy is also being reflected? You know, we're following these standards as well. So from the functional safety point of view, oh, and sorry, that was another use case we were talking about. So you imagine that you have a power unit from one manufacturer which works autonomously. You have a smart implement behind it from another manufacturer which is designed to work autonomously. If that implement is rather large, how can it know what's kind of coming up or what's behind? So you need interoperability of the perception system. you need the camera on the front of the power unit, you need the camera on the back of the implement, and they need to communicate in some way so that the perception system can see all around this combined unit. So again, it's coming down to interoperability, and that's really the sort of the driver behind why we formed this AEF team in the first place. And we have seen some really good traction. They've made some good progress in the last sort of 6 months, and as I say, there'll be someone here tomorrow to give some more details about it. And I think that's all I wanted to say now.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting, and I'm thinking also about the liability issues, because who takes the responsibility if something's wrong in this, let's say, shared perception, right? So
Yep.
it's another item, very, very serious to be discussed. And I take this hook about the interoperability because, again, field robotics is actually plugging traditional or special implements to the machines. And you from the beginning started to take standards and regulations very serious. How important is this interoperability matter for your machine, specific types of machineries?
Yeah, thank you, Alessio. Yeah, of course, safety is a crucial part of our job, because probably we are the first companies that are bringing to the market this kind of technology, and we have to be sure that we are producing safe machines. Okay, so and if you think our robot here, you can see that we can attach basically anything in the back of it, because we can, like a conventional tractor, we can remove the implement, replace it with another one. So the thing that you were mentioned before so became critical, because we don't actually know which kind of implement will be attached to our platform. And so we have to make sure that also implement producers, implement manufacturers will create new concepts of tools, of implements that will allow to maintain the safety features that the platform may implement. Okay, so for instance, if there is a collision, if there is a problem, if there is something while traveling backwards, okay, we actually don't know the area, the volume of this implement and so on. So probably as the interoperability perspective, okay, we have to agree, both mechanically, both with the power interfaces, but also with data interfaces and sensors that will be mounted on the implement themselves, just to make sure that the whole platform together will maintain an acceptable level of safety while working, okay? Because you may know that you may understand that our machine alone does nothing, okay? So we need to attach something in the back, and the tool that is attached in the back has to be safe, okay? Safe according to the autonomous navigation that the platform may implement. So yeah, this is something that probably needs a dedicated discussion.
Yeah, I know. It will take days and days or years, like we're
Yes,
doing the EF.
And also make sure that every manufacturer agrees on a common standard, you know, that is not easy. So yeah.
Thank you, but definitely we have the places to do that, right?
Yeah.
So that's very important. Now, I'd like to touch another subject, another item that you, Gwendolyn, mentioned before. It's about maybe also the attraction to the farm, and the Fira event is important in that direction. But even from the manufacturer perspective, I would like to ask to Tevel first, how important is the automation and robotics in the future agricultures, and how the skills and of farmers have to change in the future? New skills needed, new challenges, maybe for both manufacturers and farmers.
Well, thank you, Alessio. As you see, the skills change as soon as you get into more advanced methodologies of picking. Here, for example, we are revealing this highlight in AIMA right now. We have 2 demos running in the morning and in the afternoon with this type of equipment. You see, relative to the previous movie, that we have significantly advanced in understanding the complexity of horticulture. We now fit into 2-meter wide orchards. Now, where do you get 2-meter wide orchards? You get there where they are already more advanced in horticulture. And they love this concept because a technology like this can invite you to think out of the box. It means you can also grow the trees higher because now getting to altitude is not an issue. This is the versatility and the agility of the robots. So what happens is that you end up playing in the Champions League of apple production, which in Italy is definitely the area of Bolzano and Trento. And there you will find people who have already thought the next steps you did not realize. So that is a critical aspect I would like to highlight in our today's discussion. It needs to bring the mindset that if you want to work with a technology like this, you move, and you have today customers that are still picking with ladders. Well, it doesn't bring you a lot of help going there where the ladders are right now. It helps you get to a significant product when you meet people who are already developing the next generation of machines, but also horticulturally. So the CMA platform maker, which we partnered, is already a very high standard in this area, is already recognized as a mover of electrically driven base. And this is helping us also to attract the right talents. Because let's be clear, I think 65% of producers and egg producers in Europe are above 65 years of age. So if they do not understand to work with this, their type of technology soon enough, they risk not passing the ball to the next generation, because the next generation is preferring staying in London, in Milano, in wherever you go in the world, people go to the cities. And there are less and less people doing the labor. So it's becoming really, I think, a challenge for the producers to have the right mindset to meet the talents and to grow the talents in their company to be able to work with this in order to survive.
Thank you. Now, that's a very challenging situation, but also promising one if we are able to change our mindset, right? And when we talk about farmers, and Arvatec is working pretty close with farmers for to test the machines and so on. And then when it comes to sell the machine, let's say, how it is difficult to reach the final user, and how important it is to demonstrate these technologies working to the farmers.
Yes, for sure. Farmers normally are very, very conservative. So I think in all the markets, I think agriculture and farmer is the most conservative market in the world. So it's very difficult to explain them that the new technology can make them advantage from the economical point of view, and also from the technical and manual point of view. Anyways, of course, the field demonstration are very important. And we start, for example, on these ways 22 years ago when we started demonstrating the parallel guidance, where no one believed that it was possible to steer the tractor from satellites positioning with the high accuracy. So we have to do years and years of field demonstration. And now I think it is the same question, the same challenge, that we have to do a lot of field demonstration for robots. And at the end, like for steering, for GPS guidance, at the end the farmer understands the advantage, understand that the product is affordable and it is good, and they start to buy. Now, parallel guidance is well common in all the countries. I think it will be the same for robotics. For sure, it will need some years for this. And yes, the changing of the people in the farming and the years, the average year for sure is important, because for sure like my colleague Simone told, now the age of the farmers is very high. The new generation have difficult to go inside the strategic decision of the farm, because there is still the old father or the old uncle that decide for this. So the changing of the generation is also important to introduce new technology. Anyways, I think robotics will be the future. So for sure, in some ways, this become a common technology, and the farmer can understand that it is an advantage from many points of view.
Thank you, Savio. And well, we connected everyone to each other about, you know, this interoperability, new skills in farming, etc. Time is running, so I'm gonna go towards the closure of this roundtable. But a very short question and hopefully short answer. A couple of you already gave some thought on that. So, how important or how attractive will be the new technologies like robotic, automated function, and so on, to have in the future new people attracted by farming? Very shortly, 1 minute each. Let's start from Simone.
Well, I'm experiencing on my same path of career with this experience at Tevel. You get really bright people working with you because they are attracted by changing the idea of being able to change the world. Because when you work with high tech, you realize that there is a world in front of you. And as a result, these clever people have very good networks, and they bring you to the right places.
Okay. Savio.
I think that is the demand creates the market. And from our experience, we see that now the situation is that a lot of farmers and also contractors have a problem to find people that can drive the tractor, can steer the tractor. And so on this way, I see that the robot can be the solution, because on this way, you need specific people that can control a fleet of robots. And so on this way, I think they can solve a part of the problem they have now, that it is to find people to drive the tractor, to stay 10 hours a day over the tractor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Savio already said a little bit of this, and I think also that the new generation, like also Simone said, are really going back to the family farms or to the countryside, let's say, and are really oriented to have such a technology in the field, because they also see farming companies more like an investment and something that can be actually sustainable also in an economical point of view. And in this case, technology plays an important role because, as you know, costs are increasing for everything, and therefore you have to find new paths to be alive, let's say. And yeah, that's it. And also we also hope that will create also some more work also to young people that can not only be the user part of the ecosystem, but also plays an important role also as a developer of the technology. So that's, we'll see.
Thank you.
Okay, for me, I just think it's a really exciting time to be in agriculture, whether you have a farm and you're trying to attract the children back to the farm to support it, or whether you're working for an ag equipment manufacturer and you're trying to get more people into the company. The more technology, the more possibility there are for the younger generation today to play and develop these cool things which we can use in our industry. It makes it so much more exciting and so much more attractive. And again, from the farming side, but also from the OEM side. So I think it's a really exciting moment to be in this industry, because it's this sort of, if you like, need or this abundance to have more technology can pull more people in, and we can go a lot faster and do more. So it's a fantastic time at the moment.
Thank you.
Well, a lot of things have been said already. I will go on the, let's say, the family side of the farmers' needs, the time saving they can have from working with robots. And I really say working with robots because it's the thing. They are seeing their parents, say, sometimes suffering from the lack of time for their own family. They are suffering in their bodies. It's a very, very hard job. We all know about that. With robots, they can have a new way of working. So this new generation can say, okay, I want to keep my family farm, and I can do it in a better way now, and I can see my children growing, and I can have time for myself too. And one thing that's very interesting, we've been working with some students in France, and they have said that they still want to drive their tractors. That's something very important for them. Even though they see as robotics as nice solutions, they are worried of not driving their tractor. And we're like, no, you will be driving your tractor, but maybe less hours during your everyday job.
Thank you all of you for, oh, please, there's a microphone.
I would like to catch on Gwendolene's observation. Robots are here to increase the value of what we are doing. We have to break the mindset believing that they're going to replace us. I give you two statistics.
Very shortly.
Which are the countries that are most robotized? Japan and South Korea. What is the level of unemployment there? Almost zero.
Thank you for these nice hints, Simone. Well, let me thank you, all of you, for being part of this discussion. I hope it was interesting for all of you, and thank to all the audience for being here in the first time to this area. Have a great time at AIMA, and let's continue in a few minutes with interoperability, talking about AEF and the importance of certification in maybe 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great day.